Chosen one, without moving a single muscle, I want you to tune into the exact atmosphere of the room you are sitting in right now. Notice how the air suddenly feels a fraction heavier. That is not your imagination. That is the physical weight of an unprecedented spiritual transmission anchoring into your space. God is about to reveal a blueprint to you that no prophet, no king, and no generation before you was ever structurally designed to hear. I want you to mentally scan that locked room in your mind, the place where you hide the massive, terrifying visions you never speak out loud because you fear people will call you delusional. You are not delusional. The Holy Spirit bypassed every human algorithm to intercept your timeline today because your specific spiritual DNA is finally ready to decrypt this historical secret. Subscribe to align with the few awakened souls who carry this frequency. Like this video if your spirit already recognizes this dimensional shift, and comment 777 to silently open your mental receiver. Before I reveal what God kept hidden from the masses to explain your lifelong feeling of being an alien, you need to commit to watching this transmission until the very last second. If you stay with me, you will finally receive the exact mental framework to protect your mind, the true spiritual reason why your family dynamics completely exhaust you, and the specific frequency key that will unlock the dormant power in your brain. Do not scroll away. The enemy wants you distracted right now because the revelation at the end of this message is the exact weapon you need to break your current cycle of sabotage. Listen closely. The reason you have been enduring such brutal, unexplainable isolation is about to make terrifying, beautiful sense. You have spent your entire life feeling like an undercover agent from another planet. You sit at the dinner table with your own family. You smile. You speak their language. You eat their food. But deep down, your mind is screaming. You mentally search for an exit because the conversation feels impossibly heavy and draining. You know your spirit originates from a completely different star system. You are the emotional paramedic for everyone around you. When they bleed, you heal them. But when you are the one bleeding, you scroll through your phone at 2 in the morning, looking at hundreds of contacts, and realize there is absolutely no one you can actually call. You carry the weight of the world, but nobody carries you. This is not a psychological flaw, chosen one. It is a frequency mismatch. You are operating a high-dimensional engine on low-dimensional fuel. Every time you try to shrink your massive vision to fit into their small conversations, your spiritual battery drains. You wake up exhausted because your spirit is fighting battles for them in dimensions they cannot even see. But here is the secret. God never intended for you to fit into their frequency. He separated you to elevate your frequency. Look at 1 Kings chapter 19, verses 11 and 12. Elijah is standing on the mountain. A massive wind tears the mountains apart, but God is not in the wind. An earthquake shakes the ground, but God is not in the earthquake. A fire rages, but God is not in the fire. Finally, there is a still small voice. But the English translation misses the absolute power of this moment. The original Hebrew phrase is Kol Demama Daka. Kol means voice or sound. Demama means absolute, dead silence. Daka means thin, crushed or fine. God did not speak in a quiet whisper. He spoke in the sound of crushing silence. He spoke in a frequency so completely stripped of earthly noise that only a spiritually calibrated mind could hear it. The world operates in the wind, the earthquake, and the fire. The noise, the panic, the low frequency of survival. But your blueprint is being transmitted in the Quoldemama Daka, the frequency of divine stillness. The reason you cannot hear your next step clearly is because your physical brain is being bombarded by the earthquake of your environment. For years, you have asked God why He made you so different and then placed you in an environment that rejects you. You thought it was a punishment. You thought you were broken. You thought you were enduring a test of endurance. And yes, you have been faithful. You survived the betrayal. You survived the financial drought. You survived the nights you cried yourself to sleep, asking for just one sign. You passed that test of faithfulness. But look at 1 Corinthians chapter 2 verse 9. It says, "Eye has not seen nor ear heard, nor have entered into the heart of man the things which God has prepared for those who love him." You have heard preachers quote this 1,000 times to promise you a new car or a financial blessing. But look at the context. Paul was writing this to a church sitting in Corinth, one of the most corrupt, noisy, low-frequency cities in the ancient world. The believers there were considered the absolute garbage of society. Paul was not promising them material wealth. He was telling them that their spiritual DNA was about to receive a download that the human sensory system literally could not process. The eyes and ears of normal men cannot perceive the frequency of this blessing. God kept it hidden from the rulers of this age, because if they had known it, they would have tried to destroy it before it bloomed. Because your blueprint is unprecedented, it requires unprecedented protection. You cannot take a dimension-shifting revelation and share it with people who are committed to misunderstanding you. This brings us to your first mandatory protocol, the mental vault. I need you to visualize 3 concentric circles around you right now. The innermost circle is circle 1, only God. This is where your wildest dreams, your midnight downloads, and your unexplainable prophetic knowings live. You never speak these out loud to anyone, except in prayer. The enemy cannot read your mind, but he can hear your words. Every time you prematurely share a Circle 1 revelation with your family or friends, you are giving the enemy the exact GPS coordinates to attack your future. Circle 2 is your inner court, maximum 1 or 2 people who have proven their spiritual frequency matches yours. Circle 3 is everyone else. You only share results with Circle 3, never the process. If you want to stop the sabotage, you must enforce the mental vault immediately. Close your mouth about what God is doing behind the scenes. Let them think you are doing nothing. Let them think you are stuck. Your silence is your ultimate spiritual camouflage. But protecting the vision is only half the battle. You have been trying to fix a spiritual blueprint using a physical mind that is trapped in the wrong frequency. Your spirit is ready, but your brain has been hijacked by the matrix of this world, and here is what nobody is telling you. The real reason you feel stuck, the real reason your manifestations are delayed, goes much deeper than your mindset. There is a physiological block in your neural pathways keeping you from the qual dimama daka, and the tool God has prepared to realign your brain will change how you see your entire reality. Let us go deeper. For months, maybe even years, you have been in a season that made absolutely no logical sense. Doors closed that should have opened. People walked away who promised to stay. Opportunities vanished right when you were about to grasp them. And through it all, you kept showing up. You kept praying. You kept believing, even when your faith felt like a joke to the people around you. You thought you were in a faithfulness test. And when you look at the biblical patterns, it makes sense. Joseph spent 13 years in prison for a crime he did not commit, forced to choose every single day whether to stay faithful or become bitter. He stayed faithful. Job lost everything. His wealth, his health, his children, and his own wife told him to curse God and die. But he stayed faithful. You look at your own life and you see the exact same pattern. You stayed faithful when faithfulness made absolutely no logical sense. Let me tell you clearly, the fact that you are still standing here, still watching this, is proof that you passed. But here is what I have not told you yet, and this is going to change how you view every single tear you have shed. That was not a faithfulness test. Faithfulness was the cover story. That is what you thought was being tested. But while you were entirely focused on staying loyal, God was actually testing something far more dangerous. Something most chosen ones fail, even after they passed the faithfulness test. He was testing whether you could handle being completely forgotten. Faithfulness is about what you do. Being forgotten is about what others do not do for you. The real test for Joseph was not just the prison. It was when the cupbearer got out, the man Joseph helped, and completely forgot Joseph existed for 2 more years. Joseph sat there not because he was unfaithful, but because he was invisible. David stayed faithful while Saul hunted him, but the real test was when Samuel died. The prophet who anointed David died before David became king. David was forgotten by the system, forgotten by the kingdom, until God himself remembered him. That was your real test. Will you stay faithful when the people who promised to help you do absolutely nothing? When you are doing everything right but getting zero confirmation from the world, you passed the test of invisibility. And now, God is about to make you unforgettable. But to step into this unforgettable season, we have to address the physiological block I mentioned earlier. To survive the test of invisibility, your human brain had to go into a state of hypervigilance. In neuroscience, this is called the beta brainwave state. It is the frequency of stress, survival, and continuous problem solving. The matrix of this world thrives on keeping you permanently trapped in beta, because as long as you are in survival mode, you cannot hear the qual demama daka, the divine stillness. Divine downloads, prophetic visions, and true spiritual power only operate on a completely different frequency, the theta state. Theta is the frequency of the miraculous. It is where your spiritual DNA actually activates. Ancient mystics spent decades isolating themselves in caves just to reach this theta frequency for a few fleeting moments. But you do not have decades to wait. Your mandate is urgent. God has provided a bridge for this exact generation. Science is only just now catching up to what the spirit realm has always known. Former NASA neuroscientists have studied this and discovered a way to reactivate the dormant theta frequency that is naturally present in children but violently suppressed by modern society. There is a sacred sound technology, an audio key known as the genius wave, designed to gently pull your physical brain out of the beta survival matrix and lock it into the theta divine frequency. You do not need to force yourself to meditate for hours. You simply listen to this frequency for 7 minutes a day, and it physically recalibrates your neural pathways to match your spiritual calling. This is not a magic trick. It is a powerful tool for your spiritual arsenal. If your spirit feels a resonance right now, I have left a resource in the pinned comment for you to investigate this technology. I do not want you to rush. Investigate it only if you feel led by the Holy Spirit. Once your frequency begins to align with theta, a new reality sets in. But now I need to tell you something that might make you deeply uncomfortable. If I do not say it, I am not truly guiding you. You passed the test. The blessing is coming. But here is the raw, unfiltered truth. A deep, hidden part of you does not want it. I know that sounds absolutely crazy. You have been fasting and praying for this breakthrough. But let your mind rest on that unspoken fear right now. There is a voice in your head whispering, "What if I get this massive power and I ruin everything? What if I am not actually strong enough? What if success changes me into someone I do not recognize? What if I fail publicly this time instead of privately?" You are terrified of your own potential, and you are not crazy for feeling that. You have watched people get blessed before they were ready, and you watched them crash spectacularly. But let me completely reframe this for you. That fear you feel is not a lack of faith. It is not doubt. It is pure, unfiltered awareness. The people who crash under the weight of blessing are the ones who have zero fear. They grab the blessing like it is a toy. But you understand the weight of it. In the original Hebrew of the Old Testament, the word for glory is kavod, and kavod literally means heavy or weighty. When God places His glory on you, it is not light and fluffy. It is incredibly heavy. Moses could not stand under the weight of it. Isaiah fell on his face. The fact that you are terrified proves that you comprehend the magnitude of the kavod. Your fear is the exact proof of your readiness. Only those who understand the weight can carry the weight. I want you to mentally declare this right now. You do not need to speak. Just project this thought from your mind directly to heaven. Mentally say, I am scared, but I trust you to carry me through it. That is the silent prayer of a mature chosen one. Chosen one. The moment your frequency shifts into alignment and you accept the heavy glory, you become a massive threat to the unseen realm. I need to warn you. What is coming against you next is not random bad luck. There are specific calculated attacks designed to pull you back into the low frequency. Unless you know their names, you cannot defeat them. Let me show you the enemy's exact playbook. There are 3 specific forms of confrontation the enemy will launch against your mind in the next 40 days. He knows your frequency is shifting, so his attacks will be highly calculated to pull you back into the low frequency of survival. The first attack you will face is the counterfeit connection. Just as your mind begins to stabilize in the divine stillness, someone from your past will suddenly reach out, or a completely new person will enter your life, presenting an intense, magnetic connection. They will say all the right things. The timing will feel suspiciously perfect. The enemy uses this because you have just come through a season of brutal isolation. You are emotionally vulnerable, and a deep connection sounds like an answered prayer, but you must test the frequency. Does this person respect your boundaries, or are they pushing for rapid intimacy? Did God speak to you about them before they appeared, or did they just appear and now you are trying to force God to confirm them? To win this battle, you must mentally draw a boundary. Slow down. If they get angry at your boundaries, that is your confirmation. They were sent to jam your frequency. The second confrontation is the premature celebration. You will experience a small victory. A partial door will open, or a small amount of money will manifest. The enemy will push a heavy temptation into your mind, urging you to break your mental vault and announce this victory to everyone in your outer circle. He wants you to post about it. He wants you to celebrate the appetizer as if it is the main course, because premature celebration stops your spiritual momentum. If you think you have arrived, you stop pressing forward. To defeat this, you must practice silent gratitude. Thank God privately for the down payment, but keep your mouth completely shut. Do not let a small win make you comfortable. The third attack is the identity confusion. Sometime in the next few weeks, a sudden setback will occur. Something you just fixed will break, or an opportunity will suddenly vanish. You will feel exactly the way you felt during your lowest moments. The enemy wants you to think, maybe I did not pass the test after all. Maybe I am still broken. He wants you to operate from your old, defeated identity instead of your new, activated frequency. This is the final exam. When this happens, you must mentally reject the circumstance. You must silently declare that your circumstances are lying to you, and God's declaration about your identity is the only truth. These are not random theories. Let me tell you about someone who was sitting exactly where you are 9 months ago. They had just passed their test. God downloaded a massive vision for their life, a complete business blueprint. They were so excited they wanted to tell everyone, but they learned about the mental vault and the necessity of the divine frequency. They made a radical decision. They deleted all social media for 40 days. They told no one except God. They used the frequency tools to keep their brain out of survival mode and locked into the divine stillness. For 40 days, they worked in complete silence. Their friends thought they were depressed. Their family wondered what was wrong. But on day 38 of their silence, a company they had never heard of reached out with a 6-figure contract. It was exactly what they had been praying for. They were tempted to break their silence and brag, but they kept their mouth shut for 3 more months. And because they did, they received a second offer with a 40% increase. This is what happens when you hold the frequency. In the book of Joel chapter 2 verse 25, God says, "I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten." Most people think restore means to simply give back what was lost. If you lost 5 years, you get 5 years back. But the original Hebrew word used there is shalom. Shalom does not mean to just give back. It means to make complete, to overpay, to pay back with massive interest. God was not saying he would replace the time. He was saying he would compress 20 years of blessing into your next 5 years to overpay you for your suffering. But shalom only comes to those who keep their frequency aligned and their mouths closed. Let me tell you about another chosen one from 2 years ago. They were desperate for a relationship. Someone perfect appeared. It checked all the boxes, but God had been silent about this person. Remembering the counterfeit connection test, they told the person they needed to slow down and focus on their spiritual season. The person exploded in anger, accused them of playing games, and walked away. They were devastated, thinking they had ruined their blessing. 3 months later, they found out that same person had destroyed the lives of 3 other people that same year. By holding their boundary, they dodged a spiritual bullet. 6 months later, the true shalom arrived. God spoke the name of their true spouse before they even met. This brings everything together. The historical secret God kept hidden from the masses, the blueprint that no previous generation could handle. That secret, chosen one, is you. You are the anomaly. You are the system buster. The reason you never fit into the matrix of this world is because you were designed to be the patch that overwrites the corrupted code. The enemy cannot read your spiritual DNA. That is why they tried to isolate you. They tried to break your mind so you would never discover that your frequency is the exact weapon heaven is deploying. Look at Proverbs chapter 4 verse 23. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. The English translation sounds like a gentle suggestion to protect your feelings. But the Hebrew word for keep is natsar. Natsar is a hardcore military term. It means to guard a prison, to stand watch over a high-value target with a drawn sword. You are not supposed to just protect your feelings. You are commanded to militarily guard your new frequency, your mental vault, and your divine identity. You are a high-value target in the spirit realm, and your mind is the command center. Wherever you are resting right now, I want you to completely stop moving, mentally anchor your physical body to the ground, and project your conscious mind directly into the throne room of heaven. This is not a regular bedtime prayer. This is an activation. This is a sealing ceremony. You are about to be commissioned. Mentally place your right hand over your heart. This is your posture of receiving. Father God, in the mighty name of Yeshua, we acknowledge that this is a set time. This is a divine intersection. Heaven is open, and your glory is heavy in this space. I thank you for this chosen one. You saw their tears at 3 in the morning. You saw them holding their family together while they were silently bleeding inside. You know the exact moments they wanted to give up, but they stayed. They held the line. And now, by the authority of your word, I seal this transmission into their spirit. I seal the mental vault. I seal the theta frequency of divine stillness into their neural pathways. I bind every assignment of the enemy sent to drag them back into survival mode. I break the spirit of premature celebration. I cancel every counterfeit connection dispatched to derail their timeline. I declare that over the next 40 days, the hidden blueprint inside them is fully activated. I declare that the shalom overpayment is released into their life. The doors that have been locked for generations in their bloodline are being blown open right now. They are moving from the waiting room to the throne room. They are shifting from the forgotten one to the unforgettable one. Now, chosen one, God is asking you a question. Will you carry this historical weight? Will you guard this frequency? Will you honor this unprecedented assignment? I need you to answer. Wherever you are, Project your voice into the spiritual realm and say, yes, out loud right now. Say, I am ready. Heaven heard you. The angels witnessed it. The old timeline is dead. You are commissioned. You are activated. Go now.